On this week's episode, it's another edition of My Home in Portugal, where I speak to normal people who have discovered Portugal, fallen in love with Portugal, and found a home in Portugal. This week, I'm joined by Barbara and Michal Rozek, a couple from Poland who've invested in 2 properties right here on the Silver Coast. For those of you listening, head over to our YouTube channel to watch some of this episode. And for those of you watching, click down below and subscribe. And for the full podcast episode, go to Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now over to my conversation with Michal and Barbara. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. And it's another episode of My Home in Portugal. This time I'm joined by Barbara and Michal Rozek all the way from Poland. Michal and Barbara, hello. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Hello, good to see you.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your story, but maybe Barbara and Michal, if you can just start off by telling us a little bit about you, work, family, just whatever you're willing to share about yourselves.
So family maybe first, Barbara.
We have we are 25 years married. We have 3 kids. The oldest one, Patrick, is 22. The middle one, Matthew, is 20. Matthew is right now studying in the US. Patrick is now studying and working in Warsaw. So they are actually out of home. They are coming, like Patrick is coming more often than Matthew, of course, because of the distance. And we still live with Martina in our house here in Silesia in Poland. She is 14, and we are running our own business, like family business, with Michael's father, who owned the company. Also, we are celebrating this year 30th anniversary of this company. So this is also nice celebrating for us.
When we first started speaking, you had already been to Portugal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
A couple of times. So
Yeah.
just talk about those first trips to Portugal and sort of what impressed you about the country, what you enjoyed, what surprised you maybe, and just talk a little bit about those first visits to Portugal.
Okay, it was first visit in Portugal. It was very surprising place, probably from what we start, because we start really from Azores.
It's a good place to start.
So we already have been there a couple times, like 6, 7 maybe. We also visit, if we are talking about the islands, Madeira, of course, popular place to go, and then really we start to discover the mainland Portugal, and really couple times we have been in Lisbon, of course, couple times we have been in Porto. We really fall in love with Porto and that's area. We are very interested also in like wine testing, like enotourism, and so we really love to visit the producers. Some people say that 80% of drinking of wine is where you drink and with who you drink. So
yeah, there's a TV show called The Wine Show, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the presenters of The Wine, he shared an interesting statistics that a lot of people that if people hear the cork opening, they enjoy the wine 20% more than what they would if they didn't hear the cork opening. So yeah, a lot of it's got to do with the setting and what's happening around you, the food, these kind of things. So,
Exactly.
so yes. But what about you, Barbara? I mean, what were some of the things that you kind of enjoyed and appreciated on those first trips to Portugal?
I think the nature, the views are amazing, and the people are also very nice, and the food is amazing. Also, of course, the wine was something which was drinking locally with the great food, and seafood is really nice, and preparing is also specific for that place.
What's happened that's brought you to this decision that, hey, we actually want to now invest in something, spend more time in this country? What brought you to that decision?
For myself, it was couple things. I start think to once to find a place which are quite similar to California, but in Europe. So it was first like for me thinking about, okay, let's find something like that in Europe. Another factor was the location. If we are spread, our son is studying in the States, we are traveling there, and Poland is like more Central Eastern Europe. To find a place also which is a little bit in the middle of it, and again it was Portugal. Then we start have this business, business reasons to have some connections with the Portugal. So again, another reason.
What was it in particular that attracted you to the Silver Coast, Barbara?
There is not crowded place. We don't like crowded places, like very touristic places. There are places where you can like hide on the small beach. There are places where you can go to nice town with nice restaurants, nice people, close to the beach with nice climate.
Just take us through kind of your memory of the steps. To put this into perspective, you've now invested in two properties, one in São Martinho do Porto. We'll talk about São Martinho a little bit because it's a special place, and another in Valfurado, which is, we don't want to tell too many people about this place because it's like magic, right?
Yeah.
But just take us through the steps, how this all started for you, and your recollection of the process.
And we spent there like 3-4 days without any, anyone but by ourselves, and
just exploring on your own.
Yeah, exactly. And then after we left, I start searching and contact you because I already decided to do something in this place. The first investment was Nautilus.
Yes.
And then after 10 months, we start to discuss, and then after a year, finalize the Vale.
So I know originally São Martinho do Porto and the property there made a lot of sense for the two of you, just based on what you wanted from a lifestyle perspective. It was a property that you bought that was, the construction had probably just started, if I remember correctly. So it was an off-plan purchase. I mean, Barbara, for you, the location and the steps involved, what attracted you to that investment?
I think of course location, as we said, the location, the place, the area is beautiful, and I think it was very important was help we received from your side, from the company, from your company side. It was making us to trust all the whole process, and we could trust the process, we could trust the people, and I think it was very, very important.
Barbara, I remember very, very vividly walking into the apartment. For you, it was the first time seeing the building. We went up to the roof, we walked through the apartment. How is it feeling for you going from kind of seeing all the paperwork, 3D images, floor plans, and then finally kind of standing there and seeing this thing that you can touch and walk into and feel? How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was great experience. Yeah, like everything which was on the plans was physically possible to see.
I think there's not any difference really in terms of Nautilus between the visualization, the picture you sell us little bit, and the real
The real
things
thing.
which happens, and it's already in terms of the building, it's almost ready. Yeah, I just received the last pictures, and being there like 2 months ago, I was very happy and surprised that it improved a lot. And it's like now, if we can one day compare the pictures with the real pictures now, and you know, this display, find a difference.
Yeah. What's the word? Find the difference. Yeah,
And I think it will be very, very close and hard to
that's good
find
to know.
one.
You started all this journey all online and started looking for people that are thinking about doing the same thing. Any tips that you have for people, and places that you would send them, resources that you'd recommend to them for them to understand more about looking at Portugal for a home, for a property, for an investment?
It's about the Nazar and the waves and the surfers there. You show them, and then they start thinking, you know, about everything else. I think this is
A good
the
starting point.
the great story, you know, which you can use you, and it's always amazed anyone.
Your first home in Portugal is almost ready. Your second home is on the way. But a question that we ask all of our guests, and probably it'll be a little bit of what you've already spoken about, but a question that we ask all of our guests on the My Home in Portugal episode: why do you feel at home in Portugal?
For sure, food. Yeah,
Yeah, I think, yeah, we told that.
Food.
What is
Food, wine.
this is amazing part. Vegetables, a lot of vegetables and healthy food, seafood, yeah, and wine. It's also important. I think now is the prices are great in Portugal and are a little bit lower than in Poland, for example, which used to be other way. So which means it's more affordable to live there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Michal and Barbara, thank you for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
It's
you so
pleasure for
much.
us.
Pleasure for us.
And I'm going to let you call it.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, Sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.